Welcome back to Game of Thrones: The Story So Far, where in Season 4, a royal wedding in King's Landing unites two great houses of Westeros, the Tyrells and the Lannisters.
Marjorie and Joffrey's wedding is one of those weddings that we all have to go to where there's no love in the room.
The wedding brings another great family into the game, the Martells, represented by Prince Oberyn.
We're the hottest couple at the wedding. What else is there to say?
Ilaria-san.
My lord, my lady.
John.
He has a zest for life and all the beautiful things that the world has to offer. None of it is as beautiful as his own rage and taste for revenge.
Oberyn is seeking vengeance for his sister's brutal death at the hands of the Lannisters.
Rape and murder of women and children is considered distasteful.
Joffrey really uses the wedding as an excuse to be as horrible as he can.
Uncle, you can be my cupbearer.
He sees it as an opportunity to wield his power because he can. And you're dying for something to happen to him.
And so, an unseen hand poisons the newlywed king.
Idiots, help your king!
Move away!
It's the moment of retribution that the whole of the Seven Kingdoms have been waiting for.
I think everybody who watches Game of Thrones was hoping this day would come.
I wanted to kill him in such a way that the viewers were reminded that here's a 13-year-old boy who's dying.
Though it is actually the Tyrells that have poisoned Joffrey, it is Tyrion who is blamed.
This is really the point where Tyrion's fragile bonds with his family begin to unravel.
Take him! Take him! Take him!
In plot terms, the death of Joffrey is another shaking of the board where the pieces are scattered. And also, it's one of those things that elevate the whole series from merely a story into a saga.
As the royal family grows weaker, news from Westeros reaches Meereen, where Daenerys has conquered the city, but she is not yet ready to capitalize on her enemy's weakness.
King Joffrey Baratheon is dead. Murdered at his own wedding.
This would appear to be a really good time for her to finally make her play for the Iron Throne.
She has the dragons, and she has the army, and she has the strength of character.
But actually, she has new responsibilities now, and she has unfinished business where she is, and she's still trying to learn how to rule.
And to compound matters, her dragons have grown so big that Daenerys has started to lose control of them.
As they get bigger, as her power increases, the harder it is for her to manage. And that's where the story then has to go. All they're going to bring is complexity.
And when one of the dragons kills a child and abandons her, Daenerys is left with no other choice but to chain the other two.
She's just locked up her dragons, so can she unleash them again? And will they forgive her?
Without the mighty force of her dragons, Daenerys is faced with a dilemma as to what to do next.
She's definitely going through a sort of a dark night of the soul, I think, where she's trying to determine, have I got what it takes?
And so in Season 4, as Daenerys remains in exile, across the narrow sea, Sansa Stark has fled the capital and taken refuge with her aunt Lysa, who has been seduced by an arch schemer.
Littlefinger's playing a very chaotic game, and he thrives on that.
Oh, my sweet wife. For Littlefinger, it's all about getting power, I think, and using Lysa as a pawn along the way.
Sansa is witness to Lysa's murder and covers for Littlefinger.
Sansa's one of these poor characters who's been mistreated all through the series. She's seen a lot of horrible, horrible things happen, and she's never been able to take control, and this is the first time that actually she's got nothing else to lose.
When Sansa lied to protect Littlefinger, I cheered. I thought, thank God, girl.
He tried to reason with her, promised her she was the only one he had ever loved, but she stepped through those doors and she was...
What you discover is that she's been learning this entire time. She's been listening, she's been watching. She's been taking Littlefinger's lessons to heart.
So from one Stark protege to another, Sansa's sister Arya is still the Hound's hostage, but they're now on an equal footing.
Who would pass the bloody gate?
The bloody hound, Sandor Clegane.
He's her captor, but he's also her protector. And, you know, she's seen his own pain and his own fear at times, and they've shared some dangerous situations.
But when the Hound is gravely injured in battle, Arya is forced to strike out on her own.
Fuck it. I'm ready.
Now he's wounded and he's dying, and she's remembering all he said about mercy, and he's asking for mercy. And by mercy, he means, a quick thrust to kill him. And she doesn't give it to him.
Kill me.
She won't put him out of his misery. She won't give him the easy way out. She's going to leave him there to suffer.
Another wandering Stark is Arya's crippled brother Bran, who has made it north of the Wall in search of the three-eyed raven, who he believes will help him walk again, all the time aided by his loyal travelling companion, Hodor.
I think Hodor's been more than just Bran's legs. I think he means a lot to Bran. You know, he's always been there through absolutely everything, you know? Even though he can't speak, he can only say one word, he's always someone that's looking after them.
You know, in a world of evil, he's probably one of the only good ones.
Clearly, Bran is very important because he's trekked all the way up north to a cave where this raven has been summoning him for the past couple of seasons. And now he's in this cave with the three-eyed raven. Really, we're going to find out what the grand scheme of things is for Bran.
You'll never walk again. But you will fly.
His powers, he's getting stronger, and there's going to be some really exciting things happening. I think we're going to find out more and more about him.
At the Wall, the Night's Watch suffers a huge wildling attack at Castle Black. But in Season 4, they get a powerful new ally. Stannis Baratheon, who's been away licking his wounds after the Blackwater defeat, joins them with his vast army.
The Battle of the Blackwater was a huge and crushing defeat at the end of Season 2. And it's taken them basically 2 seasons to sort of rebuild from that.
And his arrival means that Jon Snow could have a new ally in the battle against the White Walkers beyond the Wall.
If my father had seen the things that I've seen, he'd also tell you to burn the dead before nightfall. All of them.
Season 4 draws to a mighty climax in King's Landing when the ultimate father and son showdown comes to a head. Tyrion is tried for murder.
I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
You're not on trial for being a dwarf.
Oh, yes I am. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
He's put on trial for a murder he doesn't commit. His father deserts him and betrays him.
I demand a trial by combat.
I mean, trial by combat, you can get someone to fight for your honour, so whether you're wrong or not, as long as they win the fight, that's what matters.
He names Oberyn Martell as his champion.
The one thing that he's ever lived for is to avenge his sister's death. And he knows that now that the opportunity is presenting itself, there's no question that he will get what he wants.
You killed her children!
And he does get what he wants by forcing a confession out of him. It's not exactly how he expected it.
I killed her children.
He still technically got what he wanted, you know?
Then I raped her. Then I smashed her head in like this.
But when Oberyn is defeated, Tyrion is sentenced to death.
In Westeros, the pursuit of justice is as futile as anything else.
Oh, get on with it, you son of a whore.
Is that any way to speak about her mother?
Tyrion is released from jail by his brother Jaime and told to go and board a ship and run away. Instead, he decides to check in on his father.
But it's his former lover Shae that he discovers in Tywin's bed.
Tyrion then kills Shae in a sort of fit of jealousy and then takes a crossbow and goes to find his father.
Tyrion, put down the crossbow.
It's so tightly wound, this scene.
This is someone who spent his whole life trying to win his approbation. As much as he hated him, he really wanted that, you know. Obviously, that's never going to happen now because he put a crossbow bolt in his groin.
What it means is when a big character like that goes, there's going to be a power vacuum and there's going to be hustling and jostling to get into his place.
I am the Queen! I am the Queen! Have you lost your mind?
Join us after the break, where in Season 5, a new power rises in King's Landing.